Now, this is going to be a stupid question, but I think you'll appreciate where I'm coming from. Am I interviewing Jay or am I interviewing Simon?
It's a great question. You're interviewing Jay, the creator of Simon, because Simon truly only exists on in animated form and in some bizarre realm of the universe that we haven't really discovered. He can only communicate with us through his animation and his audio recordings, unfortunately. Although he tends to pop in every once in a while.
That's not a bad thing. No, I just wanted to know who I'd address the questions to, essentially.
Yes, it's Jay.
Because I've interviewed professional wrestlers before, and they
right.
They often prefer to stay in character. And I've actually had a couple artists that in the past that prefer to be interviewed by their persona and not from whom they are. So I just wanted to know.
Well, I feel like one day a lot of different people could play Simon. Like, I feel like I created a character and I'm playing him like an actor. I feel like one day when Prozzak is a musical theater project, which we're starting to create now, it'll make more sense when other people play Simon. Probably a lot better than me. There's going to be a great Simon out there one day.
But how much Jay is in Simon?
Well, writing-wise, 100%. It's really great to be able to hide behind a persona that isn't actually you visually, and even, the way he has an accent and all that stuff. It allows me personally to be way more honest with material than I would be. I have another project called Today Kid, which is a folk project, which is me, and it's a lot more of a struggle to be completely honest there than it is with Prozzak. Prozzak is like completely, whatever I'm feeling, I just do. So it's a gift, really.
Do you find it difficult to write upbeat music about things that are sad?
No, studying all my favorite songwriters from musical theater all the way to Springsteen to the Beatles and everyone, I always find that the most effective stuff has a juxtaposition in the mood of the music and the lyrics, and it adds an extra layer of depth. When you have a poignant, sad lyric over a happy melody, it reads as like an irony or being hopelessly eager about something. But if you just have a happy melody over a happy, upbeat song, it can be great, but it's just one level, which is fine. And there's people who do that really well, and I'm jealous of them.
What's a Prozzak live show look like? And would it be fair to say that it's a lot different than most bands that come through town?
Yeah, I mean, we're playing a lot to track, but we're doing everything we can do live. So I'm singing 90% of the stuff for real, and then there's some things that I can't possibly do as one human being. So there's some overdub stuff, and there's some of me singing. I'm playing bass. Sometimes I don't play bass, and it's to track because it's a synth bass and whatever. James is playing all his guitar for real. We've got a DJ, Katie Shaw, who is playing a lot of tracks and sound effects and cool things. She's like our hype person, running around getting the audience all hyped when I have to be behind the mic. But really the focus is the cartoons on the screen and the characters. So we kind of look like stagehands, almost like energetic stagehands, like all dressed subdued. And we like the message that we created this thing, but the real thing is up there on the screen. It's not really us, but we're still there to show people that we're doing it for real.
All right. And Katie Shaw is featured on the track "If We Were in the Jungle." Is that her vocal on that? Is that what's going on?
Yeah, that's her vocal. Katie's an artist that I discovered in the subway in New York about 5 years ago, and I've been developing her as an artist as well.
Was she busking?
She was busking, playing ukulele in the subway, yeah.
Cool.
And, yeah, super cool story. And she's got an artist project of her own, which is very big. Actually, one of our videos just hit 3 million plays on YouTube. And she's got, like, tons of plays, like millions and millions of plays on Spotify. She's a super successful indie artist in the U.S., so she's super cool.
Well, that's fantastic. So that tune I just mentioned, most people have no idea what I'm talking about because they haven't heard Forever 1999.
Right.
What about that year in particular made you want to focus the record on that?
Well, we did this reunion tour, or like a reunion show at this festival called Atomic Lollipop, and we were shocked to see, everyone who was like 15 when Prozzak first came out, now like, late 20s, early 30s, and 4,000 people like waited in line to talk to us, and we had no idea we had an impact that lasted beyond 2000, 2001, like literally no idea. And what everyone was saying was we were a formative part of their ninth grade and all that stuff, and we meant a lot to them in those years, and that was really 1999, 2000, maybe 1998. And then, Forever 1999 is way better title than Forever 1998.
Okay, that's absolutely true. I wanted to ask about a couple of tunes on the record, if that's all right.
Sure.
Cool. So the title track, Forever 1999. After kind of listening to that tune, my first thought was, are we supposed to interpret that Simon has settled down? Or is it more of a...
That's
is it like
a really good question. That was a brief period in Simon's life where he really thought he was going to settle down, and that captures that moment for him. But it turns out in the end it was more wishful thinking than reality.
Okay. Cool. How about Adaptation? Because I feel like that one almost kind of sticks out because it's such a different vibe than the rest of the record.
Yeah, so Adaptation is actually a cover of a Today Kid song, so it's Prozzak covering my own solo project, and that was a really real song for me about a pretty intense breakup when I was living in New York, and I actually got the line from Kaufman's movie Adaptation. I'm paraphrasing it, but what you love is what defines you is taken from a scene in that movie where they're in the swamp. I don't know if you've seen that movie, Adaptation. Genius.
I haven't.
But basically it's one brother telling another brother, they're twin brothers, that it's what you love that makes you who you are, not who loves you back. And that line always stuck with me. It's really poignant, and I wrote the song based on that line.
That's really cool. Okay. And then Love Me Tinder. I guess it's the message that we're supposed to get from that one is that a hookup app might not be the best place to find true love.
Although it's really fun doing that experiment, so I wouldn't take that away from anyone's experience. But in the end, yeah, I mean, I had like a major Tinder binge in LA for like 2 years, and it was just nonsense. Like, you can't know what you're going to find. You can't connect with someone's picture, as we all know. So just the whole attempt to find something special that way is what that song's about, and in a humorous way. So
it's not. So maybe for as far as Simon's pursuit of what he wants out of life, it might not be the best way for him to go.
Well, Tinder plays into the exact psychology that's most dangerous for Simon. I mean, just the constant love addiction, supply of endless new females to make you think that, or whatever you're into, that make you think there's always something better out there, like, preventing you from giving anything real a chance. That's like Simon's worst nightmare.
Now, you had mentioned the idea of adapting to a musical theater show. If that's the case, my question would be then, without obviously I don't want you to give it away, but would Simon have to settle at that point, or would he find his happiness, or is that something that? That's
really interesting because I just finished a musical in New York that's coming out next fall. Called Pop Star, and I really learned the craft. I've got a long way to go, but I learned it a lot better than I thought I would have in the last 3 years. And it's such a different animal, musical theater. It's really exciting, and you do have to have a character arc and a resolution of some sort. And that's going to be a challenge to find out what Simon's resolution is. He might not have one. There might be something else in the play that does. We haven't gotten there yet at all. But, yeah, that tends to be a closed story where something happens at the end, and we don't know what that's going to be yet. So,
I mean, that's kind of the beautiful, from an artistic perspective, the beautiful thing about theater as a medium is that it's not like a movie or a TV show where it necessarily has to have a neat, happy ending. I mean, you can have a really dark ending. You can pretty much do whatever you want.
Absolutely.
So
Simon could also find that he isn't meant to find true love. Maybe it's something else that he should be looking for instead. Maybe there's another purpose for him. I mean, we don't know. There's a lot of things that could happen.
I can see why you would say that, but I feel like that particular response would almost negate the last 20 years of work.
Well, having a revelation in your life that you have to pivot, the hardest thing about that for any person is that notion that you're letting go of all this huge amount of time that you invested in something. But that is the nature of pivoting.
That's absolutely fair. I got to give you that one. So you did kind of allude to this previously, but I have to ask: did you think that the kind of nostalgic response from your fans would have been as prevalent as it has been, or was it due to that the project continued to move forward?
Yeah, I mean, to tell you the truth, I wasn't thinking about Prozzak at all when that came up. We had an article in Vice, just out of the blue, about crazy 90s bands, and we were featured in it, and then we got an offer to do this Atomic Lollipop show. And I literally thought I was going to come up there and play to, like, 3 high school friends and my mom, and, like, just seeing the people packed in there and dressed like us and all that stuff, I guess it did validate the project a lot in a way that I didn't expect. And also there's a lot of pleasure in doing this more for fun now than business, because back then it was like Sony pressure for record sales and for, you know, how much merch are we selling and all that stuff, and now it's not about that. Now it's truly about a labor of love and really getting out on stage and having fun at a time when I least expected that to happen. So, and it validates the project. I'm allowing myself to say, hey, maybe, I did do something that was kind of cool to like a few people instead of like berating myself for like doing a cartoon character or something.
So, given the nature of the music business in 2017, do you think a project like Prozzak could ever get off the ground with major label support the way you did back then?
That is a great question. I mean, we truly had the support of a traditional record label at the time when CDs mattered, when physical sold, when labels were making a lot of money and they could invest in stuff like really great animated videos and do what labels used to do best. And labels do that still. They do it really well at the very, very top rung of the industry. But these days it would have to be tied to like a big Pixar movie, or there have to be so many tie-ins that I don't think an authentic band could really pull it off. Maybe a DJ could do it. You'd have to do it in a clever way. The way we did it, I don't think you could do it again. Having a standalone animated band. Now, maybe someone will prove that wrong.
Because when you got into this project, was it intended on a serious go at it, or was it just kind of like something that just kind of happened and then it became a thing?
Well, the way it was created, it just happened and became a thing. But as soon as we took it seriously, I had an impression of this aging rock star, actually based on this book I read called Pinball, and also based on Squeeze, their song Cool for Cats. You combine those two things and you get Simon, and maybe a little Woody Allen. But and I had this impression that I was doing on the bus and Philosopher Kings all the time when we were partying, and my A&R guy, Mike Rose, heard it when we were recording a Philosopher Kings album, he was like, "You should do something with that. That's hilarious," and got a lot there. And so the next Philosopher Kings tour. So up to that point, it was kind of like, wow, I didn't expect that to happen. But once I started taking it seriously, yeah, it was. I threw everything I had into developing that character and the whole everything that went around it. So, hello, this is Simon from Prozzak, and you're listening to the album drop.